Now, it's a sad reality, but at this point, we are seeing these shootings too often. And we need to be equipped with how to survive if we're ever faced with one. Danielle Wiggins spent the day talking with current and retired FBI agents about what you need to know if you find yourself in that situation. And Danielle, to be candid, this morning in our meeting, you were saying it's something that you now think about when you walk into the grocery store, because we're hearing about it so often. We want to know, how do we protect ourselves on a daily errands?
That is correct, Laura. It's something that I talk with my kids about as well. And the FBI, they stand behind their run, hide, fight strategy as a way to increase your chances of surviving what police call an active shooter situation. Now, the FBI even has this nearly 5-minute promotional video explaining what people should do. I spoke, though, with retired FBI agent Gregory Vecchi, who is now the director of training for Safe Defend, an active shooter protection system. He tells me who is most likely to be hurt or killed in these situations.
People that we see that get hurt or killed in these situations are people that are close to the attacker. They freeze. They don't get distance, and they don't zigzag or angle, or what we like to say, get off the X, and they don't use things that will block their vision and block their bullets.
So Vecchi is not a fan of using the terms run, hide, and fight because they don't fully explain what you should do. Instead, he advises people to avoid, escape, evade, then engage, in that order. So what that means is that you should trust your instincts. If an environment doesn't feel right, avoid it. Now, if you do encounter a shooter, escape. Try to get out running in a zigzag motion so a shooter can't shoot you as you escape. And evade means finding a room where you can lock the door and push heavy objects in front of the door and making sure that everyone is quiet with their cell phones turned off. And Laura, Vecchi says engaging the shooter is your absolute last defense.
Wow. All right, Danielle, we've seen stories of someone taking on the shooter and actually saving lives. You just kind of touched on it. That's the last defense, you're saying?
Yeah, so Vecchi says unless you have training that is equivalent to a security guard or police officer, you should not go after the shooter where you hear those stories. He says you will most likely end up hurt or dead. So Vecchi is adamant that engaging a shooter as someone who isn't trained is a defensive effort, not an offensive one. And we'll explain more at 5.
All right, Danielle Wiggins live for us in the newsroom. Danielle, I appreciate you. Thanks.